Hello and welcome to Wicksteed Park. It's a new park for me. I've never visited here before and I'm really looking forward to getting in and getting on some unique and heritage attractions here on the site. There's 3 different coasters, there's a couple of different water rides, and there's a lot of other different attractions to check out. Obviously one of the water rides is the water Chute, which opened back in 1926. Very historic attraction, that one, and that's the main attraction here. But there are 3 different coasters, one of which is actually an ex-Blackpool Pleasure Beach coaster, which is the Clown Coaster. So I'm really looking forward to heading in and checking out all of these new rides and attractions for me to get on. She's like they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
The stairs up there.
It says no entry on it, so I don't have to shut it.
Where is it?
So ambitious. You pass me my I've just come off of my first ride of the day, which was Mr. Wicksteed's Cars, a very classic vintage cars ride. Really enjoyed that. Very classic heritage ride that opened back in the 1950s. It's even got some theming you can have a look at, like these little road signs. And I really like that dark ride scene in the garage with some theming, like some tools in there, and some like oil cans, and just really nice. A really long layout actually, because it does sort of go around the back, but it's quite a slow moving, relaxing ride. With some nice theming. So you got the little oil pump there, and you just got a lot of different bits of like big spanners in there, and a lot of things you can look at while you're inside of that dark ride scene. Just on the ride in the Wicksteed garage, and you go sort of around, you can see all the trees and lots of different scenery and nature you can see as you're going round. Yeah, it's quite a long ride. Really enjoyed that. Quite surprising, but I just love it. It's another heritage ride, and it's even got some good theming in the little section over there. Oh, I felt like it had warmed up a bit then. Yeah, that felt like it warmed up. I don't know if it's just because it's been on it once, so... Yeah, I filmed about halfway down the drop and I was like, oh, I'm glad I filmed that one. And I stopped filming just before we got to the station, but then we sent again. Yeah. I think you used to always get 2 laps, but because it gets so busy, they had to change it. But I think it's a bit like, you know, Runaway Mine Train at Alton Towers. You normally get 2, but sometimes you get 3. I think it used to be like that, whereas, well, I think it's like that now, and it used to be that you always got 2, but because it gets so busy. Oh, the mine ride, yeah. The mine ride, because we've got 3 laps on there. The guy was and then he was like, remember when it got really busy, and he started having to say, you know, 2 laps because how busy it was, and everybody started booing and that. All I understand,
Was it? It was the
log flume at the safari park that was like that as well, wasn't it? Where
God, we went there 5 times.
because I was the one who wanted to go again that time, wasn't it?
We went there twice. We were like, yeah, yeah. And then we come back and we was like, do you want to just stay up?
And I was like, yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, if that's an experience we won't get again. We go again this year.
Probably not. Go again, isn't it? Yeah. Well, the Halloween thing. It was autumn, when we did that. Yeah. I was out for that. It's like not long.
I've just come off of the absolutely classic Chute the Chutes, one of the oldest ones in the world, and that was really fun. Actually got sent round twice, and I did film a POV both times as well. Really, really fun ride. It's just a nice light sprinkle. It does get you quite wet, but it's not like unbearable. It's not that you get absolutely soaked on there. It's just a nice light sprinkle, but you do feel you get quite reasonably wet on there, and it's just a classic. I mean, extremely old, 1920s this opened, extremely old ride, and it's a very unique water ride, wooden Chute the Chutes, and I absolutely love the way you get pulled back up. Very unique sort of feeling that is. I mean, that does take the longest, but I'm hoping to come back on again if I can. Yeah, really, really fun ride, and this is the main attraction here because it is such a classic. Okay, let's go. I've got 80 something, I can't remember. I need to check my coaster credits, but I'll add this as soon as we come off it, so here we go. Apparently it's a bit rough, but you know, we'll have to see. It's a pin far, it might be. Not too bad. Not too bad so far. Here we go. Whippersnapper. It's not that bad. Here we go. Head chopper. Oh wow. That wasn't too bad. Steep banking on it, hasn't it? That's how I describe it. Yeah, I didn't find it that painful the first time, so I think, or maybe if we do it on the back it'll be a bit more painful later on, but you know, have to see. It's really funny, I like it. It's perfect for this park. It's a bit snappy, but you know, whippersnapper. Let's go off of Dinosaur Valley, which is the dinosaur-themed Pinfari roller coaster over here. It's an old Pinfari, so it's a little bit jolty with some of the transitions and a bit sharp, but I was quite surprised. I didn't really get head bashed on there at all. Really, really nice. The helix, really forceful. We just had a couple of rides. The first time was sort of on the back row of the front car, so second row. Second time I was on the front of the front car, so right on the front row. Really enjoyable, really quite forceful on some of these drops, and also on there, the helix on right on the bottom. You got some sort of vinyl stickers around here with some dinosaur theme, and there is obviously the dinosaur prop over there. It's running on 3 trains, which makes it really good capacity, although it's pretty quiet, so there's no queue for it. But yeah, quite snappy, and those bank turns are quite fun as you're going round, and some of the drops are quite big on there as well. So yeah, really, really nice family coaster. It's a perfect signature coaster for this park because it's nothing really too intense, but it is also quite snappy and also quite forceful with some of those elements and quite large drops as well. Look like the uncompact, it's a woody, and it's technically a woody. I don't know. It's listed as a woody on the RCDB. So.
Inside the car throughout the ride and hold on to the bar. Enjoy the ride.
Well, that doesn't make it
And the tubs as well. Oh, here we go. It's too scary. Oh, it's got a launch lifter. Oh yes. Like a flower head. It's like. Doesn't even need the lift hill, that's yeah, have you seen the flower? It's like Alice in Wonderland at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, huh? The launch on it. Great. Yeah. I started filming it way before the ride started. It's going to bump up the video length, isn't it?
I'm bracing
Oh,
myself for that.
extra lap. You normally get 3, I think. I've just come off of the Ladybird roller coaster, second credit of the day, and it's really actually quite a nice fun family coaster. It's another perfect fit, but it's a good like junior coaster, but it also works nicely, it fits in the park. The little airtime hill over there, even got a little launch lift hill, which I really love. But yeah, really fun. Family coaster, and definitely a good extra credit to get while I'm here. Yeah, it's really fun, and I'm getting 4 laps actually, from what I remember. Yeah, really good fun. I've just come off the paratrooper here. Really long cycle, really enjoyed that. Nice and gentle. There's a little bit of force, but it's quite a unique sensation with sort of almost floater air time. I'd sort of describe it as. But it's really nice. And just getting a long cycle and some nice views of the rides in this area of the park. Yeah, really nice flat ride, and it's good that they've got a good variety of flat rides. Yeah, really nice sort of feeling on there, and quite sort of more of a family ride, and quite gentle, but also with sort of a bit of force and sort of almost floater airtime sort of feeling at the bottom. I think it's the only one in the UK. I've never seen anything like this before. There might be one in... I don't know. Oh, it's forceful. It does feel like a chair swing at the moment, but then when it starts bouncing, I wonder what that's going to feel like. Forward rather than sideways. Oh yeah. It's like yeah, it's like you get sort of pulled backwards sort of thing. It's really weird. It's like you get the forward G-force and then it feels like you slow down. It feels odd. Yeah, because it's small and compact. Every time you pick, get one. It's small and compact, so. And they work with SPF Visa for like Lightning 360 and the reverse time and the pendulum, so it wouldn't surprise me because it's the same company. I've just come off of Galaxy Invaders, a very unique SPF Visa flat ride over here. It's quite odd. It starts off a bit like a chair swing, so you're just getting that breeze and swinging out. But then as you kind of start bouncing, it's like it's swirly, so you feel it like almost. It feels like it slows down and then you come back out again. And it's not really forceful, but it's quite an odd feeling when you're. It feels like you're getting almost pushed forward and pulled back. It's quite hard to explain, but yeah, very odd ride. Never done anything like that before, so it's certainly unique. But yeah, just a really odd sensation on there with when it starts bouncing outwards and getting sort of almost pushed forward and pulled back. But I didn't find it too intense. I thought it was quite a nice family ride and a perfect fit for this sort of park. There's a good variety of family flat rides. I mean, just coming off the paratrooper, it's a good variety of flat rides that are about the same perfect level of thrill. But yeah, sort of similar to a chair swing, the way it swings out, but then when it starts bouncing sideways, it does sort of feel like you're getting pushed and pulled back almost. It's very odd, but I quite enjoyed it. I've just come off of the honey pot bears, and that thing is crazy. Absolute wild sort of spinning teacups ride, but I think it's because they're so small, so you can just get them spinning, and it's such a workout. But you start to feel the G-force, and it's pulling you back as you're trying to spin the wheel, and oh, it's really great. I mean, you can get those spinning insanely fast. I mean, see, I did the POV on there, and you can see I just really went for it and got them spinning. It's crazy, and it was that fast that I couldn't even tell when the ride had stopped because they were still spinning just from that momentum. It's absolutely crazy. You can make this such an intense ride just from like a little kid's ride, and it's such a good flat ride. Like the fact, obviously, I love these because you could control them, but this one's got to be one of the best ones I've done, just for getting it to spin that fast. And I've already done 3 flat rides here, and they're all very different experiences and very unique, and that's what I love. It's really not lacking with flat rides, this park. Just come off of the absolutely classic clown coaster. That actually is a former Blackpool Pleasure Beach coaster. Quite unique, these. They're sort of the Pinfari model. You don't see that much of. They are sort of junior coasters, very small, probably the smallest coaster here. But it's nice that I've picked up all 3 credits. Yeah, really, really sort of tame. Not really, there is a little airtime hill on it, but there's not really any airtime. But yeah, nice little bonus credit, and I do quite like it because it's not the most common sort of junior coaster that you'll see, and it's quite fun getting, I think, 3 laps on there, so pretty good. And the final coaster credit to pick up, and it's even got some sort of circus theming on it and a little clown up there. There's one on the other side as well, but yeah, nicely themed train as well with the clown on it. But I'm just really, really glad I've been able to go on this because it is an old Blackpool Pleasure Beach coaster, and it's a nice unique junior coaster that you don't see that many of. The view's great. You can see all the hills in the distance. Yeah, over the bridge at the end. I've just come out of the treetop walk. That was really something quite unique, that. Sort of a viewing platform, but you have to go over these little bridges and obstacles. Really fun, that, actually. So you come up the stairs in the building over at the end. And then you get to come over here and you get some good views across like the hills in the distance, and obviously the clown coaster just nearby. Yeah, really interesting, that. Obviously you've got the little logs you have to balance over, and the little sort of downward area where you sort of have to jump down the different platforms. So that was quite different. That was, but yeah, that was really fun, and quite high up at that top. Yeah, it's quite high up on that little platform up there, little observation platform. Before you come down, you have to climb up to it on the little nets and climb down, and then you get into the little observation tower. And then you have to climb, sort of jump down these like really high up steps, and you get some nice views over the clown coaster and all the hills in the distance. It's actually really nice, that is. Yeah, of course it's above the goat enclosure, and you get to it through the building at the back. But that really surprised me. I was expecting it just to be an observation platform. I didn't really know what to expect, but yeah, little climbing bits, little logs you have to balance on, and sort of go around, and some bits are easier than others, but yeah, really good fun. I've just come off of the classic train, another heritage ride, the Wicksteed Park Railway. It's quite a long ride. It literally goes all the way around the perimeter of the park, and you get some fantastic views of the thrill zone with the Dinosaur Valley roller coaster, and also Galaxy Invaders. You also get to sort of go around the back and out of the thrill zones and where all the rides are, and a lot more relaxed, and you get to see all the ducks in the lake. There's a big lake around the back of the park behind Dinosaur Valley, which is really nice. You just sort of get separated. Did see the water chute as well, obviously, as that sort of is a ride on its own, but it's a really nice atmosphere on this, because you get some nice views of the rides, and also the quieter sort of areas of the park where you've got the big lake and you get to see all the ducks as well. And it's also got this really nice little classic train station as well, with some theming in there, like some posters and old signage in there as well. I've just come off of the little lighthouse drop tower. It's more of a sort of scenic ride, this one, with some nice views from up the top. It is a small drop tower. There's a few little drops at the top, but there's not really much force at all on it. But you do get some nice views up there, so that's what it's more about. It's more about getting some nice views across the park, as well as a few little drops. But it's not really got much force. It's just more of a nice scenic, sort of gentle drop tower ride experience.
To apologise for them, but you know, don't mean it hard.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, well, that's what kids do. Yeah. Why is that woman got a beard? No, it's a woman.
It's 2023.
Well, yeah, no, but you know, when 10 years ago it was the confusion.
Was it changed that? I've just come out of Meerkat Manor, really nicely themed, with this sort of African styling meerkat enclosure. There was quite a few to see in there. It's really nice. Got some good shots of them sort of digging through the sand and on the rocks, and it's really nicely themed. And there's quite a few different meerkats to see. That's what I really like. There's so many different animals, like the goats that we saw earlier, the meerkats, the ducks obviously as well. You're everywhere, you can see them. But on the lakes, you can see them on the train. Actually, it was really nice. But yeah, really nice meerkats. You get these at quite a lot of zoos, but yeah, it's nice to see the meerkats, and there's quite a few different ones to see in this nicely themed enclosure.
to anymore. Okay, well, your mum's taking. No, they're in it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Oh, we found out that tree top.
I've just come off of Snakes and Ladders, which is the giant slide attraction all throughout this building. It's crazy. It's a bit of a workout going up those stairs, but we've got 5 rides on there. The last slide I did was the blue one right on the end, which was pretty crazy. It goes really fast. It keeps the pacing on there really well. I did get a POV for the first time I did it, but yeah, the last slide definitely I felt like the fastest one, because I did come off the end on it onto the little area off after the slide, so I did go all the way down that one, and yeah, it's really good, really fantastic. Another attraction to check out here, and it's nice they've got a slide in here, and having 5 goes on it. Yeah, you can just keep going round on there because it's got the wristband system, so you can just keep going around, just get as many slides as I like. And I think 5's pretty good, especially with the last one, having 2 rides on that last slide and my last couple of rides, because they were just probably the best one, because it just felt so fast paced for a slide. Just come off of the rocking tug. Nice little family ride these. It was a long cycle because it did actually go round both ways on there. It spun around both ways. And the nice little spinning Zamperla rides, those that are quite compact, and it fits perfectly into this park. Just opposite the clown coaster, which I'm going to have another ride on. But yeah, nice little rocking tug, and it seemed to spin around a bit faster. I think I might have noticed that it seemed to spin around a bit faster as it went the other way, as it picks up the pace. You don't really get force on them, but they are family rides, and it's perfect fit for a family park like this. It's got a nice balance.
wave, Will.
Well, that was a nice classic ride on the carousel. Yeah, really scenic. I didn't film the whole cycle, probably filmed about half it, but it's a really long cycle though, so I'm quite impressed with that. Obviously you can't beat one of these, absolute classic. And it's definitely in this sort of heritage area of the park, because right next to it is the wave swinger that I'm going to do next. I really enjoy those, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, nice to sit on a horse on the outside of this. And just have a look around at the scenery, and obviously really get the sort of classic feel of this whole sort of section of the park. I've just come off of the heritage sway rider, which is the wave swinger. It was really fun though. I did actually have a couple of goes on it because I did delete the POV the first time, so I had to go around again and enjoy it again. But you do feel a bit of force on there as you hit the bottom. Not much air time on this one, but you do sort of get that floaty feeling with the air coming into your face. And it does fit in with the carousel just behind it as the heritage site of the park, which is really nice, because this whole park's got a very classic feel. It's kind of got a balance of rides and sort of areas full of non-rides, like where the train goes through. But of course I do love the heritage feel of these rides. It just makes this area feel sort of like a unique part of the park with these classic sort of traditional rides that you get over here. And these have got to be one of my favourite sort of traditional rides, just really scenic and relaxing. And obviously sometimes a little bit of force, like on this one, as you hit the bottom as it tilts round. Nice little second ride on the Ladybird coaster. It's got a bit of theming with it, like the little bugs, little vinyl stickers, but there is some physical theming, like the flower just over at the back. There's a little dragonfly down there. It's a really smooth coaster, and I just got on the back row and really surprised me. Obviously it's still got the launch lift hill, which I really do love. Really short little lift hill, but it does kind of have a kick to it. But I really got pulled down some of those drops, the first drop especially, and then even the airtime hills as well. I think it's 3 laps. A really good solid coaster this. It's perfect fit, and it's definitely a good middling coaster. The clown coaster is the really small one, which is pretty smooth as well, and not too intense really. This one's the middling one, and then Dinosaur Valley, which I'm hopefully going to get on next, is obviously the biggest coaster, which I don't find too rough, although I'm definitely looking forward to getting another ride on it. But yeah, the Ladybird coaster, really nice sort of fresh, the theming on here, and I love the train design. It's so vibrant and colourful, and a nice second ride. I definitely think it was a lot more intense with getting pulled down the drops on it. I've just come off of Dinosaur Valley for technically the 3rd time today, and that was mad. That was absolutely crazy, because I was right on the back row, on the wheel seat, on the back, and that was crazy. Like, pulled down the drops, you really feel it. It's a bit rougher down the bottom of the drops, and that helix is so forceful. It feels like a proper thrill ride, and that's really good because it's great for a park to have something like this. It's a family park, but it's got this big standout signature coaster that is a Pinfari. It's got a bit of that Pinfari roughness in it, but yeah, absolutely love that. That's definitely my favourite ride here. I do love the water chute for how classic it is, but yeah, that's crazy, especially with it being a family coaster. That really packs a punch, that did, with the force and just how sort of jolty it was. I've just come off of the Dodgems here. It fits in here. It's a nice traditional style sort of fun fair ride. But I got a really long cycle, which got me more opportunities to get sort of whipped. Because it's quite, the Dodgems aren't quite that fast, but you still get like proper whippy sort of hits on that one. And hit a few times and just sort of getting whipped. But yeah, it's really good if you get the sort of the hits right, then you get sort of whipped back, which was quite fun. But obviously with a long cycle you get more chance to have that classic Dodgems snappy experience that you really want to kind of have on there. And it's fantastic, and I think with the atmosphere of this park, and there are quite a few traditional fairground rides, it just makes sense to have a Dodgems here. And yeah, it's quite a good one. I think having the long cycle, so you can get more hits on there and really get snappy and whippy on there, it is really quite fun. It's a really nice second ride I just had on the paratrooper. Yeah, I really enjoy that. It's not that forceful really, but it's just so relaxing with the wind in your face, and as you're just going round. It's quite high up. It is quite a big paratrooper actually, but it's more scenic. It's just, yeah, it's really relaxing. It's not that much force. It doesn't spin really fast. It's just a fantastic ride. And obviously you get to see all the other rides going around, like the Ladybird coaster just next to it. Yeah, really enjoyed that, and I'm definitely glad I've come on it twice, because these classic paratroopers are absolutely fantastic, because they're a lot more scenic, and just get to see all of the rides from there. And obviously I've had a couple of rides on it. Because I came, obviously I went to the other area of the park, but then came back here to the coasters, and then to come back on this, because it is another flat ride at the park, and they do have some good flat rides. This is probably one of my favourite ones. I do really like Galaxy Invaders because of how unique it is. but you don't really see paratroopers that often. But yeah, definitely a lot more scenic as you're going round on. I've just come off of Rocky River Falls, which is the log flume here. It's quite high up, but the drop, I didn't get that wet on there. I mean, you get some nice views from the top as you go through the shed up there. It's just got some nice theming with Rocky River Mining Company on it. But it's quite well themed with little signposts around the ride. And then the splashdown, I didn't actually get that wet. I mean, I was in the front. It's probably better for the POV. But what got me more wet was that jump scare over on the other side, where these sort of, there's like a reservoir under the log flume and it just all comes up and it splashes you. I did see it when I was on the paratrooper earlier, can actually see the water splashing up, and also as it comes down the drop there. But it was more that got me wet, because all the water just squirts out from the reservoir and then it all just falls down on you and piles on top of you. But it was nice to sort of cool down that, similar to the water chute really. I didn't get that wet on it, but it was nice. It was quite a fun water ride, and it's nice that a park has got two water rides. It's got this, it's a bit more of a modern sort of log flume, and then it's also got the classic water chute that's a wooden one. It's the oldest ride in the park, but this one's nicely themed, and I got a nice light sprinkle on there that was enough to cool down, and that jump scare did jump scare me as well. Before you go to the lift hill and down into that drop. And that wraps up my day here at Wicksteed Park. Been a fantastic time. Managed to get on all the major rides, including the 3 roller coasters, one of which being right here by the exit, which is the clown coaster. Great little family one, quite smooth. The Ladybird, also very smooth. Got a back row on that, it's quite whippy, getting pulled. And then you got the Dinosaur Valley, which is quite smooth on the front, quite rough on the back. Just depends where you're sitting with that one. Yeah, that was really fun. Quite whippy as well, some of the transitions. I got the slide in there, that was really fun. Which was quite fast paced, surprisingly, especially on the blue one at the end. You got the wave swinger, that was fun, like those. Galaxy Invader's quite unique. Paratrooper as well. They've all 3 of them have sort of got a little bit of force on them, because they are sort of spinning rides with a bit of swinging out on them, so they have got a small bit of force, but not really forceful exactly, just a little bit as you hit the bottom. And obviously with Galaxy Invaders you get pushed sort of forward and backwards. With the chair swings also as you hit the bottom. We got the off-ride shot to the clown coaster, that was lucky. There's the honey pot bears, that was fun. Good fast spins on that. Got a couple of rides. The log flume and the chutes, both are light sprinkle. The log flume did jump scare me with that water cannon, which sort of comes when you don't expect it almost. I did know it was there, but because I could see it coming from the paratrooper, but just sort of surprising, because it comes as you're coming around the corner and you don't really know when it is, you just know it's at some point around that corner, which was absolutely fantastic. Also the rocking tug, that's a nice little family flat ride, not much force on it, but again a nice little spinning ride, which does speed up and it goes both ways. And the dodgems as well, really long cycle to get some good hits and some whippy transitions on there. Yeah, fantastic park. Also seeing the animals as well, the goats from that treetop walk was fantastic, and the meerkats as well. It's sort of getting quieter now because the park is closing very soon, but yeah, it's been a fantastic day, and managing to get on all of the major rides, and a lot of heritage here as well. At the carousel, that's another traditional ride, and it's another fantastic addition to the park to do as another ride. But all the rides here are great family rides. Obviously Dinosaur Valley is considerably more intense than the rest of the rides, but even that's sort of suitable. It's a family based attraction, it's just a lot more intense than the rest.